There comes a moment in every life, a whisper in the silence, a pause between the noise, when you ask yourself, is this all there is? You have dreams, ambitions, a fire inside you, but somehow the weight of the world, of doubt, of hesitation, keeps you standing still. The truth is, most people will never chase what sets their soul on fire. They will remain in the shadows of their own potential, held back not by reality, but by the limits they place upon themselves. But you are not most people, because deep down you already know greatness is not given, it is forged. It is shaped in the quiet hours of discipline, in the moments of solitude where you decide not wish, not hope, but decide that you will be something greater. It is built in resilience, in the face of failure, in the courage to keep walking when the path is unclear. This is not just motivation. This is the philosophy of those who refuse to let life happen to them. This is the mindset of warriors, thinkers, and those who leave their mark on the world. And today, you choose. Do you step forward? Or do you let the silence swallow your dreams? 1. Turn your dreams into reality. Every dream begins as a silent ember, a flicker of possibility buried beneath layers of doubt, fear, and hesitation. Some ignore it until it fades into nothingness. Others, those who refuse to let life dictate their fate, fan that ember into an unshakable fire. But here's the hard truth. A dream without action is nothing more than a fantasy. Marcus Aurelius, a warrior emperor who carried the weight of an empire, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He understood that waiting for the right moment, the right circumstances, the right motivation was an illusion. If you want something, you must move toward it. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now. Most people hesitate at the starting line, held back by the weight of their own doubts. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? But what they fail to realize is that the only way to overcome fear is to walk straight through it. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The mind builds mountains where there are only small hills. It whispers lies of inadequacy, convincing you that you are not yet prepared, not yet worthy." But history does not remember those who waited. It remembers those who dared. Consider the story of Theodore Roosevelt before he became a leader. He was a sickly, asthmatic child. Weakness was his reality, but resignation was not an option. He embraced what he called the strenuous life, a philosophy of relentless effort and personal discipline. He forced his body to grow stronger, his mind to grow sharper. And in the end, he did not merely overcome his weakness, he transformed it into his greatest strength. Action alone is not enough. The road to greatness is long, filled with trials that will test your patience, your resolve, and your will to keep going when progress seems invisible. Epictetus, who was born a slave yet rose to become one of history's greatest Stoic philosophers, taught that obstacles are not barriers, they are the path itself. "Difficulties show a person's character," he wrote. "So when trouble comes, remember, you were not made for ease. You were made to rise." The writer who faces rejection after rejection but keeps writing. The athlete who trains in silence when no one is watching. The entrepreneur who builds in the shadows before the world takes notice. These are the ones who succeed, not because they are gifted, but because they refuse to stop. So the question is not whether you have a dream. The question is, what are you willing to do about it? The world will not hand you what you want. It will not wait for you to gather the perfect conditions. It will challenge you, break you, and ask, how badly do you want this? Do you step forward, or do you let the silence swallow your dreams? 2. Transform pain into power. Pain is inevitable. Suffering, however, is a choice. At some point, life will strike. It will test you with loss, failure, heartbreak, and hardship. And when that moment comes, you will have two options: to let it consume you, or to use it as fuel for something greater. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire while enduring personal tragedy, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In those words lies the secret of transformation. Your pain is not a curse. It is a catalyst. No one grows in comfort. It is in struggle that we are refined. A blade is not sharpened without friction. A warrior is not made without battle. Consider Oprah Winfrey. Before becoming one of the most influential figures in the world, she endured a childhood marked by abuse, poverty, and rejection. She faced humiliation when she was demoted from her first television job because she was deemed unfit for television. Yet, she did not allow these hardships to define her. Instead, she turned her pain into power. She used her struggles to connect with others, to cultivate empathy, and to create a platform that would inspire millions. She once said, "Turn your wounds into wisdom." This is the essence of Stoicism. It does not teach us to avoid pain, but to face it with unshaken resolve, to extract wisdom from suffering, and to emerge stronger than before. When hardship strikes, it is easy to ask, "Why me?" But this question leads nowhere. Life does not choose favorites, nor does it owe us fairness. The Stoics remind us, it is not what happens to you, but how you interpret it that matters. Take J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she was a single mother struggling to survive. Rejected by multiple publishers, she faced failure after failure. But instead of giving up, she persisted. She later reflected, "Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life." Her suffering became her strength, her struggles, the fire that forged her resilience. And when success finally came, it wasn't because she had avoided pain, it was because she had embraced it and used it as fuel to rise. Pain weakens those who resist it, but for those who embrace it, it becomes a weapon. Reframe the struggle. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Detach from what you cannot control. You cannot undo the past, but you can shape your future. Use pain as a sculptor. Let it carve you into someone wiser, stronger, and more resilient. When hardship arrives, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads to bitterness and regret. The other two, wisdom and power. Which path will you choose? 3. Focus on what really matters. The world is full of noise. Endless notifications, fleeting desires, superficial ambitions, each one pulling you in a different direction, demanding your attention, stealing your time. And before you realize it, years have passed, wasted on things that never truly mattered. Seneca warned us of this long ago. People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which it is right to be stingy. Time is your most valuable asset, yet most people trade it away for trivial pursuits. caught in a cycle of distraction. They chase validation instead of wisdom, comfort instead of growth, entertainment instead of meaning. And then they wonder why they feel empty. The modern world thrives on making you believe that everything is urgent. Every email, every headline, every trend. But urgency is not the same as importance. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled over an empire, reminded himself daily, ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? This question is a weapon. It cuts through illusions, forcing you to confront what actually deserves your energy. Is arguing with strangers online necessary? Is keeping up with every minor inconvenience necessary? Is living for the approval of others necessary? The answer is almost always no. The Stoics believed in focusing only on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, our character. Everything else is external, fleeting, beyond our power. When you strip away the distractions, what remains? Your mind. Knowledge, wisdom, clarity, these are things no one can take from you. Your values, integrity, discipline, resilience, the foundation of a life worth living. Your relationships, the people who truly matter, not the ones who drain you or demand your performance. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in history, follows a simple yet powerful rule. He once told his personal pilot to write down his top 25 career goals. Then he asked him to circle only 5. "What about the other 20?" the pilot asked. Buffett replied, "Avoid them at all costs. These are the distractions keeping you from what truly matters." Buffett understood that real success does not come from doing more, but from focusing on less. The more things you chase, the less you actually achieve. To reclaim your life, you must reclaim your focus. Eliminate the trivial. Cut out distractions, toxic relationships, and meaningless obligations. Create space for depth. Silence, solitude, and stillness are where clarity is found. Guard your attention fiercely. Every moment you spend on the unimportant is a moment stolen from what could have been meaningful. You can live scattered, pulled in 1,000 directions by things that will not matter a year from now. Or you can live intentionally, choosing purpose over distraction, substance over noise. What will you choose? 4. Achieve balance and true success. What does it mean to be truly successful? Is it the wealth you accumulate, the titles you earn, the recognition you receive? The world will tell you that success is measured in numbers, money, followers, awards. But history has shown that those who chase only external success often find themselves empty, restless, and unfulfilled. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, wrote not about conquest or riches, but about self-mastery. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Because true success is not just about what you achieve, it is about who you become. Consider the names of those who had everything: fame, fortune, status, yet lost themselves along the way. Actors, entrepreneurs, politicians, athletes who reached the pinnacle only to spiral into despair. Why? Because they mastered the outside world but neglected the war within. Seneca warned of this trap. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Chasing success without inner balance is like trying to vessel. No matter how much you pour in, it will never be enough. The Stoics did not reject ambition. They did not tell us to abandon our dreams. Instead, they taught us to pursue success without being owned by it. Look at the life of John Wooden, one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time. He won multiple championships, yet he never defined success by trophies. Instead, he believed, success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you did your best. He focused not just on victory, but on character, discipline, and integrity. His players didn't just become champions, they became better men. Because Wooden knew that external success without internal growth is meaningless. If you want real, lasting achievement, you must first build a foundation within. Define success on your own terms. Don't let society dictate what fulfillment should look like for you. Detach from outcomes. Work hard, but do not let results determine your self-worth. Seek stillness. The world will push you to chase endlessly, but wisdom comes in moments of quiet reflection. The world will always tempt you with more money, more power, more status. But at what cost? You can spend your life climbing a ladder, only to realize too late that it was leaning against the wrong wall. Or you can pursue success and balance, achievement and peace. What will you choose? 5. Break through limiting beliefs. Every cage is built in the mind before it is built in the world. You are not limited by your abilities, but by what you believe about them. You are not held back by circumstances, but by the silent, unchallenged voices whispering, "I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes. This is just the way I am." Marcus Aurelius, a man burdened with the weight of an empire, reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Yet most people never realize this truth. They live confined by invisible walls, never questioning who built them. But here's the truth. The greatest obstacles you face are the ones you accept. Some of the most dangerous words in life are, "That's just not me. I'm not a leader. I could never be disciplined. I'll never be successful." These statements feel like facts, but they are not. They are decisions. Decisions that shape how you act, what you attempt, and ultimately what you become. Consider Henry Ford's famous words. "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. If you believe you are incapable, you will not try. If you do not try, you will never succeed." And so, the prophecy fulfills itself. For centuries, athletes believed that running a mile in under 4 minutes was physically impossible. Doctors, scientists, and even world-class runners insisted that the human body simply could not endure such speed. Then came Roger Bannister. He was not a full-time athlete, he was a medical student. He trained between classes using unconventional methods, refusing to accept the impossible as truth. While others focused on physical limitations, Bannister focused on the power of the mind. On May 6, 1954, he ran a mile in 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds. The most astonishing part? Within weeks, others broke the record. What changed? The human body had not suddenly evolved overnight. What changed was the belief. Once people saw that the 4-minute mile could be broken, they stopped believing it was impossible, and they did it too. Epictetus was born a slave. If anyone had a reason to believe they were powerless, it was him. Yet, he refused to let his chains define him. He studied philosophy in secret, freed himself not just from physical bondage, but from the greatest prison of all, a weak mind. He became one of the most respected philosophers of his time, and he left behind a lesson for all of us. Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. The mind creates limits. The mind can also destroy them. If you want to break free from the walls around you, you must first break free from the walls within you. Challenge the narrative. When you catch yourself thinking, "I can't," ask yourself, "Who told me that? And why do I believe it?" Redefine failure. The Stoics saw failure not as defeat, but as a lesson. If you fear failure, you will never take action. If you never take action, you will remain stuck. Prove yourself wrong. Take one small action that contradicts your belief. If you think you're not disciplined, wake up earlier. If you think you're not confident, speak up once. The moment you act, you weaken the lie. The only thing standing between you and your potential is a belief. So ask yourself, who would you become if you stopped believing in your limits? 6. Master discipline and perseverance. Motivation is a spark. It ignites quickly, burns brightly, but fades just as fast. Discipline, however, is the slow, steady flame that never dies. Most people wait for motivation to strike before they take action. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect conditions, the perfect time. But those who succeed, the ones who build unshakable strength, understand a simple truth. You do not rise to the level of your motivation, you fall to the level of your discipline. This is why the Stoics valued discipline above all. Epictetus reminded his students, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Why? Because progress demands relentless repetition. It requires showing up, even when no one is watching, even when there are no immediate rewards, even when it's hard. How many times have you felt inspired to change toe, wake up earlier, to exercise, to pursue a goal only to abandon it a few weeks later? This is because motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fleeting. They rise and fall like the tides, unreliable and ever-changing. A Stoic does not depend on feelings. A Stoic depends on habit, on structure, on action taken regardless of mood. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most disciplined rulers in history, wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I have to go to work as a human being.'" Discipline is not about inspiration. It is about duty to yourself, to your growth, to the person you are becoming. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. One group persists when enthusiasm fades, while the other gives up. Consider the story of Jocko Willink, a former Navy SEAL and a modern embodiment of Stoic discipline. He wakes up at 4:30 a.m. every single day to train, not because he feels like it, but because discipline demands it. His philosophy? Discipline equals freedom. Freedom from laziness. Freedom from weakness. Freedom from regret. True discipline is not a punishment, it is the key to mastering your mind and, ultimately, your life. How to build unshakable discipline? Detach from feelings. You don't need to feel like doing something to do it. Show up, regardless. Set non-negotiable routines. Discipline thrives on structure. Have a set time for your priorities and protect it. Embrace repetition. Success is built in the mundane, repeating the small actions daily, even when they seem insignificant. You can live by feelings, waiting for motivation, surrendering when things get hard. Or you can live by discipline, accusing action over excuses, persistence over comfort. The first path leads to inconsistency and mediocrity. The second leads to mastery and strength. 7. Build a winning mindset. Victory is not about defeating others. It is about conquering yourself, your fears, your doubts, your hesitation. Most people lose before they even begin, not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they surrender to the enemy within. They hesitate. They listen to the voice that whispers, "You are not ready. You are not enough." But here's the truth. Your greatest battle is always internal, and the mind, when mastered, becomes your most powerful weapon. The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Because winning does not begin in the arena, it begins in the mind. Fear is the invisible chain that holds people back. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. But fear is nothing more than a mental constructor shadow that grows only when you refuse to face it. Seneca warned us, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The things we dread are rarely as terrible as we make them out to be. Consider Michael Jordan. He missed over 9,000 shots. He lost nearly 300 games. He failed again and again. But he is not remembered for his failures. He is remembered because he refused to let them define him. He did not fear losing. He feared not trying. That is the difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck. Winning is not about luck. It is about preparation, resilience, and the ability to move forward despite uncertainty. Think of Admiral James Stockdale, a prisoner of war for over 7 years. He endured unimaginable suffering, yet he did not break. He held on to his belief that he would survive. But unlike blind optimists, he also confronted reality head-on. This is what separates those who rise from those who fall. They do not lie to themselves. They see things as they are, not as they wish them to be. They do not let failure define them. They use setbacks as stepping stones. They do not wait for the perfect moment. They act, even when they are afraid. Stockdale later said, "You must never confuse faith that you will prevail in the end with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality." This is the mindset of those who win, not just in competition, but in life. How to develop an unbreakable mindset. Reframe fear. Fear is not a stop sign. It is a signal that you are growing. Detach from results. Control your effort, not the outcome. Take action. Confidence is not found in words, it is built through action. The world is full of people waiting for the right moment, the right conditions, the right mindset. But the truth is, there is no perfect time, there is only now. Will you take control of your mind, or will you let fear decide for you? 8. Conquer yourself to conquer the world. The greatest victory is not over others. It is over yourself. The world teaches us to chase power, influence, and control over external things, money, people, reputation. But the Stoics understood a deeper truth. You cannot master anything if you have not first mastered yourself. Marcus Aurelius, ruler of an empire, did not see conquest in terms of land or armies. He saw it in terms of discipline, clarity, and self-mastery. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Because in the end, no matter how much you gain, no matter how much control you believe you have, if you are a slave to your emotions, your impulses, your fears, then you own nothing. Most people spend their lives trying to bend the world to their will. They want circumstances to be perfect, people to behave as they expect, and life to unfold according to their desires. But this is an unwinnable battle. The Stoics knew this. Seneca reminded us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Consider Alexander the Great. He conquered vast lands, ruled over millions, and became a legend in history. Yet, he could not conquer himself. His temper, his pride, his excesses led to his downfall. He won the world, but lost control of the one thing that truly mattered, his own mind. Contrast that with Epictetus. Born a slave, he had nothing, not wealth, not status, not freedom, but he had self-mastery, and with that he had everything. No man is free who is not master of himself. One man ruled the world and died unfulfilled. The other ruled nothing but himself and became untouchable. Real freedom does not come from controlling others, it comes from controlling yourself. If you can master your emotions, no one can provoke you. If you can master your desires, no one can manipulate you. If you can master your thoughts, no one can influence you against your will. When you reach this level of control, the world loses its grip on you. Insults do not affect you. Losses do not shake you. You move through life with a quiet, unshakable power, not because you dominate others, but because you have dominion over yourself. How to conquer yourself? Detach from what you cannot control. Focus on your mind, your actions, your responses, nothing else. Train restraint. Do not react impulsively. Observe, reflect, and act with wisdom. Choose inner peace over external chaos. The world will always be noisy. Learn to remain silent within. The greatest battle you will ever fight is the one within. The greatest enemy is not outside, it is the undisciplined mind, the unchecked emotions, the uncontrolled desires. Conquer that, and nothing else can touch you. The world belongs to those who master themselves. Will you be one of them? At the end of the day, your life is not shaped by luck, circumstances, or the opinions of others. It is shaped by you, by the choices you make, the discipline you build, and the mindset you cultivate. The Stoics understood this. They did not seek to control the world, they sought to control themselves. Because once you master your mind, nothing outside of you has power over you. Remember this: you are not what happens to you, you are how you respond. So take action. Build resilience. Break the chains of fear and doubt. Because every step you take toward self-mastery is a step toward true success, true freedom, and true strength. If this video resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what is one change you will make starting today. And if you found value in this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join our community of thinkers, doers, and seekers of wisdom. Until next time, stay strong, stay disciplined, and keep moving forward.